Money is just a tool. It buys you more time. It buys you cool experiences. It allows you to do more things. But the money itself is just a tool. I think people can miss that. One thing that we do is I give people my deal analyzer for free and show them how to use it, like for free. I don't make any money on it. If I can at least just help people not do a bad deal, like to me, that's a W. I'd rather miss a good deal than buy a bad deal any day, especially your first one, because you do one bad deal, it's going to leave a sour taste in your mouth, and then you're not going to want to do it again for most people.
Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Be Your Brand. I have in the room an amazing dude I just wanted to jam with for hours and hours, but we're only going to have a limited amount of time here to talk about all things that he's done in his life, whether in short-term rentals, building a portfolio, building a community. We're going to get into how he built all of his branding and his messaging and who out there needs him. It's most likely you, especially if you're into investing in short-term rentals. But I want to welcome to the room and to the show, Mike Sjogren. How are you, brother?
I'm great, man. I'm excited. This one's going to be fun.
Yeah, brother. I appreciate you for even helping me with my microphone earlier. So technical difficulties, you know, even the pros who've been doing it for a while, man, you got to check your mics always, especially if you're a podcaster out there. So yeah, brother, let's parachute into your life and into your business. When you gained clarity on what you wanted to do for, you know, like short-term rental STR secrets, let's get into that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was a CPA for 10 years, right? I did what they told me to do. I went to school. I got good grades. You know, I was pretty good at math. So they were like, you should be an accountant. You know, you get a good, safe job. You'll make some good money coming out of school. So I did that. Got my MBA, my CPA license, all this stuff. And then, you know, reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad in my mid-20s gave me the bug a bit to really reconsider my entire life. And I started going to real estate meetups and going to different boot camps. And I started chasing a lot of different rabbits around, all right, maybe I'll flip houses, maybe I'll wholesale, maybe I'll syndicate an apartment building. And I was just running around doing a lot of different things, not gaining traction really anywhere. And then when my son was born, everything changed. He was born with a very rare lung disease called interstitial lung disease, which basically means anytime he fell asleep, he needed to be on oxygen. And so imagine, you know, you got a 2-week-old baby at home. It was actually the day for his newborn photo shoot. I went into his room to take him out of his crib to get him dressed for the shoot. And he wasn't waking up and he looked really pale and his lips were kind of blue. And, you know, I'm a dumb dad. So I'm like, you know, just trying to pat him to wake him up. And then my wife comes in and she goes, call 911 right now. Like something's not right. And so we call 911. They're like, yeah, it sounds like he's, you know, not breathing or barely breathing. Like you need to get him on oxygen immediately. And so I threw him in the car. I'm doing 90 miles an hour down Route 1, heading to Children's Hospital. And we rendezvoused with an ambulance so they could resuscitate him and get him on oxygen. And we ended up spending a few weeks at the hospital doing all these tests to figure out what was going on with him. And at a certain point, you know, I ran out of vacation time. I ran out of sick time. I had all these hospital bills piling up. And I had to leave my wife and my son in the hospital to go back to a cubicle to trade time for money. And it friggin' broke me, man. Like I was just so many different emotions, just so pissed at myself. And, you know, when my family needed me the most, I couldn't be there. And so I told my wife the day I had to leave her, I said, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to find a way to build us a business that gives us the income we want without ever trading time for money again. And shortly after, I met a gentleman in a mastermind group. This is back in 2017. That was doing Airbnb arbitrage. You know, at the time, it wasn't really a thing. And he was explaining it to me. And I was like, this sounds way too good to be true. I don't even know if this is legal. So basically, arbitrage is like you rent an apartment from Erik and then you furnish it and you re-rent it on Airbnb. And he wasn't telling the landlord what he was doing or anything. So it just felt shady. But I'm like, this model of furnishing properties and renting them by the night versus by the year and charging a premium made sense to me. And at the time, I actually had a conversation with Matty Aitchison from GoBundance. And he gave me some of the best advice. He said, dude, you're a smart guy. You just have to pick a lane and go all in and dominate that one thing. He's like, you're chasing too many rabbits right now. Plant your flag and go all in. And so that's what I did. I made a decision that I was going to go all in on Airbnb and figure this thing out and just dominate. And that was going to be my lane. And so I took a loan out of my 401k, got a couple 0% interest credit cards, got a 2-bedroom condo up in the mountains in New Hampshire, launched it. And, we'd use it once a month as a family on a weekend, and it was cash flowing $1,500 a month. And I was like, boom, like concept proven. This makes sense. Now, how do I scale it? I'm totally tapped out financially. I can't live off $1,500 a month. And so I started to think about, well, what if I found other investors that had single families, duplexes, whatever, that they were renting out long-term. And I pitched them on this model. And I basically built a co-hosting business before it was really a thing back in 2017, 2018. And within a year and a half, I got to $15K a month in income, which allowed me to quit my job, retire my wife, and retire my mom. And since then, we've scaled it up. And now we've got 82 doors, soon to be 90 doors across 3 different states, a couple boutique hotels. And, my world is completely changed. And as you mentioned, now we have an amazing community that has helped thousands of people, start their short-term rental journey. We've helped over 400 people build 6-figure profit businesses to get out of their jobs at this point over the last few years, which has just been freaking awesome. So I am very blessed. It didn't feel like it in the moment, getting those kicks in the gut, but sometimes that's when life is giving you an opportunity if you can find it.
Yeah, I think you got it right the first time. That's when wife gives us the opportunity to.
Yeah, wife definitely gives us opportunities too.
Getting permission from the CEO of the house, big is a big deal. But dude, that's amazing, dude. So I do want to kind of go back to the core values and when you sort of started to kind of gain clarity on like, okay, this is what we're about. But I know that it's kind of like run and gun, ready, fire, aim type of experience when you're just trying to put food on the table, trying to build the business. Can you talk about like, at what point was it a light bulb? I know you said that you kind of built a co-hosting group. Like when you were doing it for yourself, when were you excited about, or were you excited about like, I'm going to show others how I did this crap?
Dude, I've always loved teaching. And even when I always loved school, honestly, like I just love learning stuff. And when I was a CPA, I always assumed one day I'd retire and I'd be a college professor just because I love teaching. And it cemented it at an M1 event years ago. I forget what it was. Your Sacred Gifts. It was like this course or something where it really helped you identify like, what are your natural gifts? And, mine just showed, which I knew internally, but it was nice to get that external validation that I just had a gift for teaching and I love teaching. I love teaching and I love learning. And so I knew that at some point I wanted to teach and just help people. But I had to figure it out myself first. And I think if you're like me and you like teaching, the thing to remember is if you haven't done it yet, you don't know how to do it. So don't try and teach it until you've done it yourself. So, I got this business going for a couple of years, really dialed in the systems, the SOPs, everything else. And then I was going to stop at like 20 properties, honestly, because we were good. We were making around 20 grand a month. Like I was very comfortable. It was more than I was making at my W-2. And then my business coach was like, you're not done. She's like, you love teaching. What's going to happen if somebody comes to you and they want to have 30 properties or 50 properties? Like, what are you going to teach them? You're going to be a fraud. And so she gave me the push to keep going, to keep growing, and then eventually get into hotels and then asset management and a whole bunch of other things now that has just allowed me to obviously grow my wealth and my family's wealth, but to be able to pass on the lessons that I learned by doing it.
I love that, dude. I love that was like burning inside you and you were called to do it. And you seem to have a knack for it because if people continue coming in, and I've heard a lot of great things about you and your program. When did you realize and gain clarity, like, okay, these are the type of people, like who are the people that need you most? Like who are the people that when they come into the door, you're like, yep, you're our people.
Yeah. So, I mean, our avatar, and there's different ones depending on the program now, because we have a few different levels, but like our core avatar for that mastermind on short-term rentals is, typically corporate employees, both men and women between the ages of 28 and 45 that are making somewhere between 120 and 300 grand a year, that have families, they're making good money, but they're tired of trading time for money and they want to gain back control of their time more than anything else. So it's not about getting people super rich and buying fancy cars and all this other crap. It's about how do we help you replace your income so that you can get your time back and spend it with your kids and do the stuff that you want to do. And you can scale it to the moon and definitely do 7, 8, whatever figures you want to do. But the core function, the core pain that we help people with is to replace their W-2 income to get their time back. And then we teach them all these systems that we have in place so that their portfolio shouldn't take more than 4 hours a week of their time. So it's like building an actual business, not a side hustle as a host, because for those of you listening, if you are an Airbnb host and you don't have good systems and you don't have a team behind you, you are glued to this phone all day long, responding to messages at ungodly hours, and you can never shut it off. I don't have any notifications on this phone, and I haven't for years because I've built a team. We have processes, we have systems, we have all these things. It doesn't require me to trade time for money. And when people hear me say on Instagram or whatever that I spend maybe an hour a week, I go to one staff meeting a week. Today, I didn't even go to it. Like I had a conflict, so our ops manager ran the meeting. Like it's a well-oiled machine at this point. Like they don't need me. And that should be the goal of building an actual business. If your business still needs you, it's okay, but the goal should be to build a machine that can grow and operate without you. That's what a business is.
Yeah. Where do you like to spend your time, in the biz side of the properties and assets, or the community side, the mastermind?
Community side. Like I spend 99.9% of my time on that. I just got off a coaching call with one of the students that's about to take down his first hotel, and he's freaking out a little bit and everything else. So it's like, to me, that's where I spend most of my time. And it's not even teaching a lot of the mechanical stuff anymore. Like we have, I think, 9 expert coaches at this point that have gone through our course, gotten to at least 20K a month in profit, quit their jobs, and then they wanted to come back and teach. And so all of my calls now are around mindset, leadership, and accountability. Like I'm not even the one teaching the technical stuff.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah, the technical stuff can be cumbersome. But do you still like to look at deals when they come on across your desk?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. But I like to keep it simple now. It's like I look at my life in 4 different buckets, right? We've got the wealth bucket that we're talking about right now. But to me, that just fuels the other 3, which is, I call it health, love, which includes the relationships and experiences and hobbies, and then impact, right? Like to me, the wealth needs to serve the other 3. That's the whole point. Like money is just a tool. It buys you more time. It buys you cool experiences. It allows you to do more things. But the money itself is just a tool. I think people can miss that, that they just want to say, I made $1 million. I'm like, cool. What for what? What do you want to do with it? Like just sitting in your bank account isn't going to do anything. So that's how I look at it. So
yeah. So good. I love it. The mastermind, I want to get into a little bit of that. And, I know I want to fast forward to sort of like where we could land it on that one. Number one, does it give you joy and fulfillment? Like, did you know that was going to happen? If it does.
Oh yeah. Like I absolutely love it. Like that is, I was listening to an old Frank Kern talk that he gave from like 2013. And he talked about the moment he realized that he needed to redo his entire business because he was making a lot of money, but he was like, I don't really want to hang out with my clients. And what would they be saying about me on the other side? Like, I've never felt that way. Like I love my people. Right. And I think the thing that if you asked any of the students, they will tell you, like, the thing that separates me in particular is, yes, like I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this a long time, but it's the authenticity. Like I give a shit. Like I've done calls with these people at ungodly hours because they're like, hey, I'm freaking out. Here's what happened. Somebody last year or a year and a half ago, they were taking down their first hotel and an investor pulled out 500 grand on a Friday when they were supposed to close on Monday. and they were freaking out. So I was like, okay, let me open up my Rolodex. Let's put you in touch with some different people, see if you can piece it together. And they pieced together the other $500,000 to close the deal. Like, to me, the most fulfilling thing, like at the beginning, I needed to make money. Like, first and foremost, like, I got into real estate to make money. I did not get into real estate because I loved hospitality or I wanted to curate amazing experience. None of that. I wanted to build a business that made me money. So if people think that's shallow, I don't really care. That's the truth. That's why I got into it. But on the coaching side, man, like, that's where I get the most fulfillment. Like, when you can help other people that were maybe not as an extreme situation as I was in, but they're feeling trapped at a job and they're just like, I don't know how I could possibly replace 200 grand. And we walk them through that. And we have something, I don't have it here, it's in my home office, but this past year, we started doing these things called Freedom Awards, where we make these really cool plaques that have this clock on it and it gets their name and a date. So anytime somebody replaces their income and quits their job, we send them out these freedom plaques to celebrate. So it was so interesting. Like, the day I quit my job, I remember the last day, it was like, I was so pumped, but it's like, that's it. Like, there's no celebration. There's nothing. It's, you know what I mean? There's no graduation or anything. So I'm like, I want to find a way to celebrate these wins, because it's one of the coolest moments of your life when you can have the courage to do it.
Yeah. And I've seen those freedom plaques. They reminded me of the YouTube, million subscriber plaques. I was like, dude, you're crushing it. And you're like, oh, those are our freedom plaques, which is really great, man. When you could take some huge win like that and offer like a tangible item, that's great branding to me. That's great service, to your community, to celebrate that win with them. I do want to ask about, I kind of want to go down the road. So if I'm listening to this, I'm a corporate guy, I'm a dink or a former dink, dual income, no kids, or I have a newborn or whatever it is. But we have a lot of money in the bank and it's not really making much, obviously in the market or sitting in the bank account at 0.01 interest. And I'm interested. I want to do this, but I'm afraid because I don't know what's going to happen. And here, I'm willing to lose 100K if I'll risk this. What happens? So how do I come into your community? Do I join the mastermind? Do I do and then are you managing it for me? Do you find this, how does it all work?
So what I would say, if you're in that boat, that was me. I was a super analytical guy. And so I was all about running the numbers, like, where can I get data to validate this? And so one thing that we do is I give people my deal analyzer for free and show them how to use it, like, for free. I don't make any money on it. It's like, if I can at least just help people not do a bad deal, like, to me, that's a W. I'd rather miss a good deal than buy a bad deal any day, especially your first one. Because you do one bad deal, it's going to leave a sour taste in your mouth, and then you're not going to want to do it again for most people. And so we have a short-term rental secrets Facebook community that we do live free trainings in there every single week. There's 8,500, almost not actually, I think we're about to hit 9,000 members in that group. And we're super active in there. And I have a bunch of free training. Like, before you pay to join, whether you want to join mine or somebody else's, like, go grab my free stuff. Like, the free stuff I could easily charge thousands for, honestly. Like, I genuinely could. But I'm like, to me, my approach to marketing, and I know this is a branding podcast, is very different than most people. I'm in some high level masterminds with some people that are doing 8 and 9 figures in, online business. My approach is so different, where I don't run ads for like VSLs and things like that. And they've gotten me to test it over time. I just don't like it. I'm like, I just want to give people free stuff that helps them. That's so good that they're like, dude, I just want to work with you. Like, I want to earn your business and earn your trust, because there's so much stuff online now that is, you don't know if somebody's legit or not. So I'm like, I'll just show you, like, here's some good shit that's going to help you out a lot for free. And if you want to go deeper and commit to it, like, cool, there's a way to do that. But if not, you can go, take this information and run with it for sure and go take down some deals.
Yeah, I love that. So you suggest, if I'm interested, I'm just about ready to dip my toe in, look for your Facebook community, join the conversation, take advantage of the free tools that you're offering. How do they find that Facebook community? What's the name of it?
If you just go to Facebook and then search on groups, it's just short-term rental secrets. You'll see my face with Emmanuel Pani, my co-host of our podcast, and Mike Riley, who's our COO. We're doing live trainings in there every single week. So you'll find it. I'll send you the link. We can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. That's awesome, dude. I'm definitely going to join. I'm curious and have always been, especially in the sexy stuff, that we can take advantage of. I got a lot of GoBros who own boutique hotels, and it's always nice to take advantage of that. So what's on the horizon for you, man? Like, what are you looking to do? How are you going to build the community? What's going to fulfill the next goal?
The thing that I'm most excited about is I'm at the final stages of negotiating a 10,000 square foot facility that I'm going to build our new office and training center. So we do a ton of stuff online, and I do a few events a year where we teach. I want to do more events, but I also don't want to travel because I have, an 8-year-old and an 8-month-old, and I like being around. And so I'm just going to build a badass training center that's cool and fun. And it's going to have, a pickleball court and a basketball court and a golf simulator, and just make it my own little Rob Deerdeck fantasy factory, and just be able to host a lot more in-person trainings up here near Boston. So that's what I'm most excited about right now is building that out. And then we've got 2 construction projects going on right now to finish up rehabbing one of the hotels that we bought a couple of years ago. And then we're starting construction to add 8 more rooms to the first hotel that we did. So a lot of construction going on this off season.
That's great, man. Pickleball court. That's all indoors? Yeah.
It's going to be pretty sick. I'll send you the sketches after this. I'm really excited about it. So.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to experience that, man. When are you looking to open
they're saying it'll be roughly a 4-month build out. So springtime.
Okay. Oh, wow. Like that soon.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome, brother. Man, I'm so excited about what this conversation, what you're doing, where it's all going, man. I wanted to jump into the last segment here as we land this bird. The segment I like to call Burn or Bliss. So it is about certain topics that could be polarizing. So all you need to do is say burn, it's crash and burn, or hey, yeah, I'm optimistic about this one, so bliss. And then you have an opportunity to pick one of them to kind of back up. You're like, okay, I need to explain why I said burn or why I said bliss on this one. All right, so you ready to rock?
Okay. I got to get my caffeine shot here. I got to be on my game for this. All right, what do we got?
Okay, throw out a word. You just say burn or bliss. All right, AI.
Bliss. Ooh. I think in the short term, burn, long term, bliss.
Got it. EVs.
Bliss.
Commercial real estate.
Same as Disney. Short term, burn, long term, bliss.
Got it. The election.
Oh, baby.
I typically say Trump, so I gave you an easy one on this one. I just said election.
All right, bliss.
All right, awesome. Yeah, brother. Any one of them you want to expand on?
I guess we could either go, I'll let you pick either the Disney one or the commercial real estate one.
Yeah, since we're talking about real estate, man, yeah. Why?
I think on the commercial real estate side, the call that I literally was just on, somebody's been really working this year to take down their first hotel deal, and it's a needle in a haystack game. I was talking to a broker 2 days ago that I check in with regularly. I'm like, hey, what do you got? He's like, there's just nothing. The interest rates went up, but there weren't any real price adjustments, and so the numbers just aren't. The math isn't mathing. For most deals right now. As a lot of these loans mature, it's going to put some pressure on people to get a little bit more realistic. But if the prices don't adjust and interest rates keep coming down, people initially are going to want to push the prices up because they're saying, oh, well, interest rates are coming down, but they never really adjusted much to begin with. So I'm saying it's burn in the interim, but I think long-term, commercial real estate is, in my opinion, the best asset class to be in, just long term. And obviously there's niches under commercial, but just right now in the current, 12 to 24 months, it's a needle in a haystack game. And it's an insider's game. So if you want to get into the commercial stuff, start building relationships and telling people what you're looking for, because anything that you see online has already been picked over by 20 to 50 investors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
build
that
reputation. Let me add context to that. It'll take 20 seconds. The reason I say that it's been picked over already is because what happens is somebody is thinking about selling their hotel as an example. They're going to call their broker, whoever they bought it from, or somebody in their network, and say, hey, I'm thinking about selling this. Keep it quiet right now. But do you have anybody that's looking for a deal like this? And then that broker is going to call everybody in their Rolodex that's actively looking for hotels right now that they have a relationship with. If none of them want the deal, then it goes online. So that's why I'm saying commercial is so important to build the relationships if you want to actually get first dibs on things. The first deal we did came off of LoopNet, but it was sitting for a long time because the person wanted way too much money for it. So when we came in, we offered a very low offer and then negotiated to a reasonable price. But it's definitely an insider's game. So if you're serious about commercial, then start looking to expand your network and just tell people what you're looking for. And you never know. The 7 degrees of separation or something like that, you just got to keep putting the word out there and somebody will find you what you're looking for.
Yeah. Would you suggest that, especially if they have no reputation, they're new to the game, aligning themselves with someone like you to say, hey, this guy's in the deal too, or
100%.
He's my mentor, so that this way you get some street cred with
100%. And again, whether it's with me or anybody else that has experience in the asset class that you want to get into, because again, like when I was saying earlier, I was thinking about getting into multifamily before I got into all this, and I'm putting in offers and the brokers are like, who are you? We have this, fund manager that's offering on this $30 million deal. You're throwing out an offer. I have no idea who you are. Show me proof of funds. Like, can you operate this? Like, what legitimacy do you have? So if you can attach yourself to somebody at the beginning, that's great. Cause you can buy their credibility.
Absolutely. I love that, dude. All right, brother. So what's the best way people can reach out to you? They want to have you on their show. They just wanted to chat, know more, or join your community.
Yeah. I mean, you can join the community or you can hit me up on Instagram. I'm pretty active over there. It's Mike.Sjogren, Sjogren, Mike.Sjogren over on IG. That's probably the most active platform I've got. And you can check out our podcast, Short-Term Rental Secrets.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, man. Till next time, man. And looking forward to doing more stuff, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Be Your Brand. If you were inspired or you learned something new today, please give us a like or a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. If you want to learn more about how to build your YouTube channel, your personal brand or podcast, hit us up at info@onairbrands.com. That's info@onairbrands.com so that we can find ways that we can help you. I'm Erik Cabral, and I hope that I added value in your life today.